so detoxifying twists, and also just thinking more generally about the side body, so like the lateral side of your torso, thinking about like building the obliques, and ultimately working up towards side crow. Yay! Okay, so let's lie down, and we're going to start in Supta Bakasana, so lying on your back with your soles of your feet together. Let me just start here. So if you're not comfortable, if this is quite intense on the groin and the inner thighs, feel free to extend your legs. You could also tuck your hands underneath your hips for a bit of extra support, or put blocks underneath your knees. If you're quite comfy, grab opposite elbows overhead. And this is such a nice way to just encourage some deeper breaths and really open up the chest. So for the first few minutes of class, just try to locate your breath, deep Ujjayi breath. That might involve taking a few sighs. It might start slowly and then get bigger. Just trying to tap in there. Let your day just fall away from you, and try to really tune in with what is going on for you right now in this current moment, in your body, with your breath. We'll just be here for another couple of seconds. Okay, you may need to use your hands, but if you can do it hands-free, you're just going to pick up your left knee and just bring it on top of your right, and we're going to start with a twist. Okay, so left knee just comes on top of the right, and we're coming into a little gentle spinal twist. The first one of many. Lift up your left knee, coming back into that Supta Bakasana diamond shape, and then switch sides. So right over towards the left. Keep your arms as they are, or adjust as needed. Good. And we're going to come back into the diamond shape with the legs. And now taking our hands just outside the knees, and just start to pull your knees in towards your chest and give yourself a nice big squeeze. So interlace the fingers over the shins, maybe rocking side to side. Neck stays nice and long. And we're going to start to separate the knees, bring them towards the armpits, and then flex the feet and come into your happy baby. So you might just want to grab onto the ankles, or you might hook around the big toes. Try to keep your lower back and your shoulders towards the mat, and then you might even want to sway side to side. Good. Bring the knees back in towards the chest. Hold behind the knees and just roll a couple of times up and down with control, nice and slowly, maybe one more time. And then make your way over onto all fours. Your tabletop position. So hands underneath your shoulders. And make sure the belly is drawn in. You're not kind of going saggy. And you're looking forwards. Inhale, reach, well, first of all, press your left knee down firmly and reach your right leg straight away from you. And we're just going to tap the foot down to the mat on the exhale. Inhale, lifting it back up. Exhale down. Try to keep your hips quite stable, your belly stable, and you're just working with the leg. And just keep going. We'll do a few more. If you'd like to make it harder for yourself, extend your left arm, so opposite arm, and tap it down at the same time. Inhale to lift, exhale down. Just 2 more. Good. Now keep your right leg lifted, bring your left hand back down. And you're just going to bend your knee and pull your heel towards your bum. And then extend once again. So you're kind of contracting through your hamstring, feeling it start to warm up a little bit more, strengthening through the back of that right leg. Let's just do 2 more. Good. Keep that right leg extended. Start to tilt your hips open and then bring the right foot down, heel in line with the left toes, and you can peel your right hand up, looking up in gateway pose. Feel free to stay here, or you're going to hover your right leg into the air, flexing the foot. Stay looking up. Start to go really light on that left hand, the bottom hand, as you're lifting all the way up. Bring the right foot down, left arm up and over now. Stretching through the left side of the body. Good job. Okay, left hand comes down, making your way back into tabletop. Okay, left leg extends. Exhale, tapping it down. Try to keep your belly drawn in. Your back is going to move a little bit, that's natural. Now, if you're ready, you can start to extend your right arm, taking about 3 more. Good. And then keep your left leg extended, right hand down. Flex the left foot and just start to take those hamstring curls, just waking up through the back of the leg. Create resistance through the back of the leg, just using that mind-body connection. Good. Keep the left leg extended. Tilt the hips open. Bring your left foot down. Left hand reaches up into gateway pose. Maybe lifting the left leg into the air. Okay, we're going to start to come up into that kneeling position. So growing really light on that right hand, the bottom hand, as your left foot comes down. Right arm up and over. Good, look down, hands come down, back into tabletop. Tuck your toes under, belly in, and let's lift up and back and come into our first downward facing dog of the practice. Walk the dog, shake the head. Find your alignment, so make sure your hands are nice and active, fingers spread wide, and your hips are up and back. You've got a nice long straight spine. You can have your knees slightly bent here if the back legs feel tight. Then you're just going to start to walk up towards the top edge of the mat. Feet nice and wide, and just let yourself hang, grabbing opposite elbows. You can take a generous bend into the knees and really release through the spine. Imagine your head is like a big weight. Your neck is totally soft. And then let your hands drop, and we're going to slowly start to roll up the spine. Okay, good. Step your feet together. And we are going to move through 2 rounds of Surya Namaskar A and then 1 round of B. So come into Samasthiti D. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, fold into Uttanasana. Your knees can bend. Try to bring your hands onto the mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift, shoulders back, belly in. Exhale, step back into your plank. We're going to hold our plank for 3 breaths. 1. So pull up through the ribs. So imagine you're pulling the ribs towards the spine. 2, squeeze the inner thighs together. And on 3, drop the knees, elbows in, half chaturanga all the way down. Inhaling into your baby cobra, shoulders back, elbows back. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 breaths. 1. Keep the breath flowing through the body. 2. Keep the lower belly pulling in, ribs hugging in. 3. 4. And on 5, you're going to bend your knees, look forwards, take a big step, return into your halfway lift. Exhale, Uttanasana folding. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, fold straight back down. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulders back, belly in. Exhale, step back into plank. If you're ready for full chaturanga, go for it. Otherwise, keep dropping the knees. This time we're going to come into upward facing dog. So really lift the thighs off the mat. Soften the elbows, look up. Exhale, downward facing dog, 5 breaths. 1. Push the ground away, lift through the shoulders. 2. Try to activate the muscle underneath your armpit, so lats, strong key muscle for downward facing dog. 3. Keep your neck long, your spine long. 4. On 5, you're going to bend your knees, look forwards. You can step or you can hop lightly to the top of your mat, halfway lift. And then exhaling into your fold. Inhale, reach all the way up high. Exhale, hands by your sides. Make sure your feet are together. Inhale, bend your knees, coming into chair pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, hands down, step, or you can hop lightly back to plank and lower down chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot in between the hands. Back heel down, bend into the front knee deeply, coming into your warrior 1. Exhale, frame the front foot with the hands. Step back without dragging the foot, lower down chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot, warrior 1, big step, nice deep bend through the knee. Reach up, really ground onto that back foot. Exhale, chaturanga, all on the same exhale. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, down dog, 5 breaths. 1, you're welcome to take child's pose. Have a sip of water whenever you need to. 2. 3. 4. And on 5, bend your knees, look forward, step or hop to the top, halfway lift. Exhaling into your fold, Uttanasana, belly in, lean forwards. Inhale, bend your knees, coming into chair pose. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center, stay in chair. Inhale, grow a little bit taller through the chest. Exhale, twist towards your right, hooking the left elbow onto the right knee and looking up. 3 breaths. 1. Sit low, lean back. 2, knees in line. 3. Inhale, come straight back into chair. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale again. Exhale, twisting towards the left. 1, sit low, lean back. 2, squeeze your thighs together. On 3, inhale back into chair. And exhale, fold. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, step back or jump back. Vinyasa, we meet back in our downward dog. Move, switch sides. Okay, on your next inhale, step your right foot in between the hands. Turn your back heel down, and this time we're going to spiral open into our warrior 2. 1. So deep bend into this front knee, hips are nice and open. You're trying to point the tailbone down, so no back bend here. Tailbone points down, belly squeezes. 3, spread the chest, reach your fingertips. 4. And on 5, bring your right forearm to rest on your right knee, left arm sweeps up and over, extended side angle pose. 2, keep the tailbone pointing down, try not to come into a back bend. 3, keep the chest rolling open, looking up. If you want to take a bind for the final few breaths, you can go for it. 4, 5, release your bind if you've got one. Bring your left hand down to your hip. Look down, we're going to move into half moon pose. So hop your back foot a little bit closer. Take your right hand down to the mat or onto a block, and then start to lift your left leg into the air, flexing the left foot, keeping those hips nice and open. 1. Taking it further, you can start to reach up, maybe even look up. 2. Keep the belly really working here to find stability. 3, turning the head up towards the sky, turning the chest. 4. On 5, both hands come down. Big step or a hop. Vinyasa. Well done. Inhale, left foot now. Big step, right heel down, spiraling open into your warrior 2. 1. Imagine you're trying to rip the mat between the feet. 2. Shoulders down. 3. 4. 5. Good job. Left forearm to rest. Right arm up and over. And you can feel the stretch in the side body as you sweep the arm up, creating this diagonal line. 2. Squeeze the bum. Keep spreading the mat between the feet. 3 options to bind. Keep rolling the shoulder open if you've bound. 4. 5. Release your bind. Come back to side angle. Right hand rests on the right hip. And you hop the back foot in. Left hand down. And we can start to lift through the right leg, coming into our half moon. Ardha Chandrasana. 2. Same variation as before, so you can stay where you are. You can start to reach up and maybe even look up. 3. Shifting the gaze. It's really tricky for balance, but really helps to open through the body. 4. On 5, both hands down with control, big step. Vinyasa. Okay, inhale, reach your right leg up high, 3-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Step your right foot through. Drop your left knee down. I'm just going to switch sides so you continue. We're going to come into our twisted lunge. So, make sure your legs are really squeezing firmly. You don't want your hips to be moving out of place as you twist. So you want to find that engagement through the glutes and through the legs. Inhale, left hand reaches up. Exhale, either hooking the elbow onto the knee, just like the twisted chair, and hands to heart center. Or if you want to go for a bind, you're going to see if you can get your armpit down to your knee, arm underneath the leg, and then our top arm travels behind the back, and we can grab onto the wrist. 5 breaths, either staying where you are or tucking the back toes under and lifting the back leg. 2. Keep rolling the chest back. 3, look up. 4. 5, keep the legs as they are. Drop the left hand down inside the front foot. Reach the right hand up. From here, see if you can transfer back into your side plank. So stepping your right foot back to the left and lifting through the hips. You can always drop the bottom knee if it's tricky. 3 more breaths. 1, leg variations are welcome. Maybe tree pose in your side plank. 2. 3, well done. Hands down. Vinyasa. Good. All right, inhale, left leg up, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to your nose. Step your left foot through, drop your right knee down. Coming into your lunge. So maybe just hooking the elbow, maybe finding your bind. It is easier to bind if you have long arms like me, so don't be discouraged, keep trying. Inhale, right hand up. Exhale, use the exhale, suck the belly in. Find that deep twist. 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep squeezing the bum. 5, well done. Release the right hand down. Left hand up. Step it back. Side plank, keep looking up. 2, lift through the sides of the body. 3, leg variations are welcome. 4. And on 5, both hands down. And Vinyasa. Good job, drop your knees and drop the forehead down, coming into your child's pose. Okay, so hopefully we've worked up some heat in the body. Just start to regulate your breath a bit more. Good, we're just going to walk our hands back towards ourselves and come up to kneeling. And from kneeling, just roll over onto one side and extend your legs out ahead of you. And we're going to move into some seated postures. So we're going to have a go at Janu Shirsasana, excuse me, which is a seated forward fold. If you require a strap, go ahead and grab one. If you want something underneath your sit bones, go ahead and prop yourself up with something. It could be a cushion or a book or a block. And then you're going to pull your right foot in towards the left thigh. Keep both feet flexing. You want to be at a place where you can roll forward on the sit bones. You're not kind of curling back and then trying to fold from there. On your inhale, reach up. And then exhale, slightly angle yourself towards your left leg and reach forward beyond the foot. Try to keep your spine long. And then when you can bring your hands to rest on the foot. You could bring them onto the shin, or you could grab onto your strap. 5 breaths. 1. So you can see we're folding and we're stretching through this left hamstring, but also we're angling ourselves towards that left leg, meaning that we're getting a lovely stretch here through the right side of the body and the right side of the lower back. 2. And whenever you're folding, you want to think chin to shin. 3, 4, 5. Inhale, start to slowly come up. And then exhale, release your foot. Moving into Ardha Matsyendrasana, which is a twist. So, picking up your right knee, step your right foot over the left knee. You can stay with your leg extended, your left leg extended. You want both sit bones on the ground. To slightly intensify this one, you can bend this left knee and pull the heel towards the right sit bone. Just make sure that you don't start to go lopsided, okay? Right fingertips behind you. Inhale, left hand reaches up. Use your inhale, grow really tall. And then exhale, see if you can hook the elbow on the outer edge of the knee and start to twist towards the right. 1. So a little bit of gentle pressure with that elbow on the knee will help you to twist. 2, think about moving your belly past the thigh. So as you inhale, you grow a bit taller. And on your exhale, you might twist a bit more. 4, 5. Inhale, looking forwards. Exhaling, releasing, and maybe taking a little counter twist if that feels nice. Good. And then just scoop your legs in, cross the ankles, and we're going to jump back and take our vinyasa. So rolling over the feet, hands down, just shoot the legs back, coming into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, down dog. From your downward facing dog, we're going to move into a seat. So either stepping or jumping, sitting down if you can, jumping through. And then pulling your left leg in towards the right thigh, and we'll do Janu A on the left side. So inhale, reaching up. Exhale, reach forward, thinking projecting the chest forward. It might feel different on each side. Taking 5 breaths once you've reached the place that you want to be. 2. 3. 4. 5. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release. And we move into our twist. So picking up your left knee now and stepping your foot over the right. You can keep that right leg extended, or you can pull the leg towards the left sit bone. And I didn't mention this on my last slide, but you want to make sure that you can keep pressing your left foot down onto the mat. Yeah, left fingertips behind, right hand reaches up, right hand's out. Exhale, hook the elbow on the left knee. 1. And this is our twist. Remember to keep growing tall with each inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, look forwards. Exhale, release that twist. Take a little counter twist. Good. And then pull the knees in, and you're going to move through your vinyasa. So step or jump back, meet in downward facing dog. You're free to skip the vinyasa whenever you like. It's just a good way to keep the focus on the breath and to keep the energy and the heat in the body. So when you're ready, step or jump, sit down. Just take a seat on your mat and have a look at the screen. And now's the time that we're going to have a little look at side crow. So some people actually find side crow easier than a normal crow. There's 2 ways to do it. One is slightly more accessible, and the second one is for those of you who've been practicing with me for a while and you're ready to take it to the next step. So side crow. You're going to start in a little squat, and feel free to just watch the screen and watch my demonstration, or you can just do the steps along with me. It's up to you. We're going to start on the right side, so this is an asymmetrical arm balance, and we want to do it on both sides. We're going to walk our hands around our squat towards the right thigh. You want your right elbow making contact with the right hip, okay? And then the left elbow making contact with the knee. So you see our thigh is going to be resting on our elbows. Our elbows are going to be like a little shelf, and our thigh is going to be resting on it. I'm going to show you what I mean. So from here, you want to look forwards, press the hands down really strong through the shoulders, and then use your legs, lift up, bend the elbows as you lean forwards, and take the weight of your legs into your elbows. Okay, that's your little side crow. You can play around with legs, you can extend the legs in opposite directions, just for fun, and then you can come down. So that's your side crow on one side. Give that a go, and then we'll have a look at second option, okay? So I'll give you guys a couple of minutes just to play around. So give it a go on one side, see if you can tilt forwards, then the other side. If you want to switch on your camera, I can have a look as well. So make sure you try to keep the legs together and lift up and over. So it's quite important to get that little lift up first, just so that you don't start to slide down the elbows. You want to make sure that your legs can rest on this upper part of the arm. Okay, so take a little break. Circle out through the wrists or child's pose if you like. I'm going to show you second version of crow pose, side crow pose, parsva bakasana. So that first version, we actually had both hands and both arms helping us. But for this next version, we're just going to be leaning all of our weight on one hand. Okay, you can do it, I'm sure. It just takes a bit of practice and a bit of trust. So rather than walking, you'll see, rather than walking the hands all the way around, this time what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk my hands next to me. So I'm going to show you what that looks like from the front. Just looks like that. From here, again, you just want to lift up, squeeze the legs together, and just start to pick the feet off the mat, pointing the toes, and you're in your side crow. Right? Then try it on both sides. So rather than both elbows taking the weight, you're just leaning onto one elbow. Your hands come on the side, you lift up, lean forwards, and just start to pick the weight up. Going into your side crow. So have a little go. Up high, you need to be up high. It's a tricky one for sure. I'll give you guys a few minutes to try. Don't worry if you're not, finding any kind of airtime at all. Just starting to put those kind of movements into place. It's just practice, and it just takes a bit of strength and a bit of trust in the body, and you'll get there eventually, or not, and it doesn't really matter because it's just yoga. So let's take a little break. Let's come into our child's pose, and we're going to spend the rest of the class. We'll just stretch out the wrists a little bit. We'll take a pigeon, and then we'll take shavasana. So let's just come down onto our child's pose and just take a few deep breaths. With each exhale, just feel yourself let that posture go today. And we're just going to come back up to kneeling. You can stay kneeling if you're comfy like that, or you can come to a seat. And we're just going to start to circle out through our wrists in one direction. And then the other. And then you're just going to make your hands into fists and just spread the fingers as wide as you can, making sure that you're not just kind of going floppy in the fingers and the wrists, but you're actually really engaging through the fingers, and just start to flick the hands away from you. Probably should have done this before crow pose, to be fair. Next time. Okay, from here, bring your hands into fists. Bring the fists together, and then you're going to see if you can bring the back of the hand down against the mat. Now, don't worry if you can't get your arms straight. It's all right for the elbows to be bent. I don't know why mine are straight, and some people's aren't. I really don't know why that is. As long as you're feeling a stretch through the top of the wrist, then we're all good. Okay, release. Hands down, make your way into your downward facing dog. Final down dog here. If you fancy one more vinyasa, you can go for it. Good. And then we're just going to step or jump, sit down, lie down on our backs. We're going to do reclining pigeon. So it's basically a figure four pose. You're going to flex your right foot bring it on the left knee. You can stay as you are if that's enough for you, or you can start to pick up the left knee, pull it close, maybe holding behind the thigh or over the top of the knee. Make sure your right foot stays flexing and you're using your leg and kind of the strength of your leg to push the right knee away from you. Back of the neck nice and long. Good. Place that foot back down nice and carefully and we'll just switch sides. So left ankle over the right knee, flexing the left foot and pulling that right leg in. Just starting to wind down. Good. And you're going to pop both feet down onto the mat. You're going to take your right knee over your left, and then you're going to pull your knees in. A bit like eagle legs without the double cross, or just a bit like you've sat on a chair and you've crossed your legs. Pull them in for a moment and feel the nice length that that creates through the lower back. And then from here we're going to twist, so we're moving into twisted root. You're going to drop your knees over towards the left and reach away from you through the right hand. If it's too intense, then untangle the legs and just have them kind of resting on top of one another. And we're going to come back into the center. So even though we're moving through some kind of more passive postures, just make sure you're entering and exiting with control. You're not just kind of flinging yourself in and out of the postures. So pull the knees in. Your left knee is over your right now. Pulling them in a bit closer. And then we're going to tip our legs over towards the right and reach away through the left. Coming back in towards the center. Place your feet down onto the mat next to one another. And then again, the same posture that we started in, we're coming into our Supta Baddha, so letting the knees drop out. You might take opposite elbows above the head once again, or you might take one hand over the chest and one over the belly. And just breathe. And before we come into our Shavasana, just take a few moments just to really focus on the breath. Our body is really nice and warmed up now. Now hopefully we can start to become really aware of how it feels for the breath to move through the body. And we can hinge our minds on that process. If you're quite happy in this position, you can stay as you are. Otherwise, you're going to come into a more traditional Shavasana by extending your legs away from you, your feet just flopping out to the sides, and then your arms come by your sides, palms facing upwards. And then try to tuck the shoulder blades together behind the back. Just feel the way that that helps you to create more space and comfort through the neck. Once you've found a position that you can be comfortable in, you can just start to gently release your hold on the breath and the body. So that means that we can really start to relax. The breath can return to natural. There's no need for the muscles to be contracting. And we can just let our bodies be fully supported by the ground and by the mat underneath us. You might use this as a time to focus your mind on your breath. You might let your mind wander. See if you can avoid tensing up or returning into those patterns of tension that we come into in the body. So making sure that the eyes and the eyebrows stay relaxed and the jaw stays relaxed. Keep letting go and keep letting your body sink down into your mat. We've just got about another minute left. Okay, you're free to stay as you are for as long as you like. Otherwise, you're going to start to bring your attention back into the room. And you're just going to start to take a few movements, maybe through the fingers and the toes, the head, and then rolling onto one side. And just stay on your side for a moment. And when you're ready, let's come up to a seat. Bring your hands together, bowing your head. And just taking a moment here just to honor and feel a bit of gratitude towards the practice itself. Everybody who comes to class and practices with us virtually every week, and everybody in the past who's made it possible for us to be practicing today. And then we're just going to start to blink our eyes open and lift the head and come back. Thank you. Namaste. Have a lovely Wednesday evening, and I will see you next week on the mat. Any requests, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just do whatever I want to do, which works for me too.